Welcome to That's Based. Happy Wednesday. I'm your host, as always, Caleb Salvatore, reporting from somewhere underground. We're laughing our way through the end of days, brought to you by Outlaw Streamers and our friends at firecrackerfarm, not.com.org.net, firecracker.farm, F-A-R-M, with the promo code BASED, B-A-S-E-D, like the title of the show. You're going to save 10% off your order at the checkout on hot salt. Hot salt's a combination of Mediterranean sea salt, scorpion pepper, Carolina Reaper, and ghost pepper. Hot salt goes great on everything. Made with love on a family farm right here in the good old US of A. Firecracker.farm with the promo code BASED, B-A-S-E-D, like the title of the show, to save 10% off your order at the checkout. You can save a little bit of money to get your piece of shit minivan out of the impound lot. Firecracker.farm with the promo code BASED, B-A-S-E-D, like the title of the show, going to save yourself 10% off your order at the checkout. Well, you all know me. I'm your good old buddy, the worst nightmare of any woman with an opinion. You know how I do it. Whether we agree or not, she's wrong. That's all there is to say. Well, we've got good take, bad take this week, where we've gone out and we've found a couple of takes circulating the internet from various people, some famous, some not, some trying to be famous, and we break them down. We judge them. Are they good takes or bad takes? Thus the name of the segment. Now, Mia doesn't join us for this segment here, so I am flying solo, but let's take it away. Nonetheless, let's go to the first take here. The first take comes from Josh Helfgott, who has got his pride picture up for Facebook. He says, your 401k crashed, but thank God you never have to look at those pronouns in Karen's email signature ever again. Well, this was posted yesterday. Our 401ks crashed? Is this... Maybe this guy just has the worst financial advisor ever? If his 401k crashed? Whose 401k crashed? I mean, it dipped for a little bit, but the losses have been wiped out. It's down a little bit from the high point this year, but the stock market's up from where it was at the beginning of the year, and it's 5,000 points higher than where it was a year ago. So to say it crashed is just disingenuous, bad faith, and you're depending on your target demographic being stupid. And that's the problem, is if you go and you look at the comments on this post, you'll see that there are a lot of stupid people who are just going along with it. Now, will this work on the general public? No, not at all. Because as we've learned, as the Biden administration learned, the game has changed in the sense that you can't just go out and tell people things that they can very easily verify right in front of their eyes, right? So when they were telling people that prices that inflation wasn't that bad and prices were actually lower a couple of years ago, people were going, no, you're full of shit. I can clearly see that prices are higher right now. And it backfired on them. So if they want to do this whole stock market thing, if they want to play with this fire, it's going to backfire on them as well. Now, they've taken a couple different angles when they try to defend this logic. Some will just flat out bury their heads in the sand and go, nope, the stock market's crashed. It's crashed. It's Black Monday all over again. The stock market is a disaster. Liberation Day and the tariffs ruined the country. It's all over. Sell, sell, sell. Or they do what the more intellectual liberals do, which is move the goalposts and go, well, you just wait. It's going to crash. When? We don't know. We don't know. They've predicted 10 of the last 2 stock market crashes. You know what I mean? These people have. So, yeah, when you go, here's what the comments say. Well, let me find this one big-brained imbecile here. Smart, stupid person that said, I knew it was coming. I cashed out my 401k as soon as he took office because I knew the collapse was coming. I sincerely hope this was a troll. Because the person then goes on to say, I must be a psychic. Because first off, if you would have held on to your 401k when he got elected, you'd be up right now, post-election. Second off, again, not a financial advisor, but we always have to specify. I'm nothing that can get me sued. right? But what I will say is, if you cashed your 401k out early because of a presidential election, you are the biggest fool on the planet. Guys, the fees and taxes that come with that, I mean, you're losing like over a third, possibly up to half of your money is gone because you didn't like the results of a presidential election. That is TDS gone wild. I can't even begin to put into words how stupid that is. I sincerely... looking at the person's profile picture, I don't think it was a troll. I think this person was being dead serious. Now, with that said, this person also looked like they had about $438 in their 401k on a good month. So, I don't know. Like, I'm looking at my IRAs right now, and we're fine. Like, we're doing good. It's not at its highest point this year, but we're way up from a year ago. Like on all of our stock accounts, we're way up from a year ago. I've got it pulled up right now. So I don't know what these people are talking about. I think this is literally just this is a rallying cry for the base, because their base, because the middle, or excuse me, the independent voters aren't going to fall for this. The conservative voters, of course, aren't going to fall for this. But I think what we have to start realizing is, I tell liberals they need to view things from the conservative perspective from time to time. That's a two-way street, though. I think conservatives, we need to view things from the liberal perspective from time to time as well, in the perspective of what works for them. Not necessarily policy-wise, but in terms of motivating your base. I always say you lose the base, you lose the race. They're gearing up for a midterm. And stuff like this, their base, the left's base, the average Democrat voter, has proven to be so gullible and so stupid and so willing to eat whatever bullshit they want to spoon feed them that you can make anything up and they'll believe it hook, line, and sinker. So when they say things like this and they rally them up with hot button issues like stocks, right? With like their 401k, your retirement. That's a scary thing for a lot of people to think about their retirement. Nobody wants to think about that for a lot of reasons. But when they can find these issues that rile people up like their retirement and play them like fiddles, they'll look at even if these idiots, there's some type of disconnect in their brain. Something is like chemically imbalanced. The wiring is off. I don't know what the case is. But when they see a post like this that says your 401k crashed when it's when the DOJ, when the Dow Jones is up 5,000 points from last year, from where it was a year ago, and you've got someone saying your 401k crashed, there's some disconnect with these people. That the average Democrat voter will log into his investment app, right? Whatever his 401k or IRAs or whatever his retirement accounts are through. Look at it. See that it clearly hasn't crashed and go, well, there must just be something I don't understand here. I guess it's crashed. And they'll leave it at that. Because they don't let the truth get in the way of the narrative. That's their big spiel over there on the left. Like they will believe anything these people tell them. That's why you can't get upset when you shouldn't even be arguing with these people to begin with. But when you argue with the average normie liberal, you can't get upset when they start parroting talking points. You have to realize, again, view it from a different perspective, not just a different opinion point. You have to realize these people are incapable of producing independent, original thoughts. Everything they say is parroted from some influencer like this. Now, I have no problem coming on the air and giving you the data and the research that you can run with and have these conversations with other people. I've made that very clear. I don't want people agreeing with 100% of what I say. I don't want people parroting the things I say when I come on the air here. I want to give you my opinion. I want to maybe offer you a perspective you haven't thought about it from before. But I don't want you to just go, yep, Caleb's right, and not do any research, to the contrary of what I'm saying and just accept it as gospel. I don't want that. Now, if you do your research, you'll see that everything I'm saying is right. But I want you guys to go out and research it on your own. These people don't do that. They see posts like this that clearly don't make any sense. They have nothing to back them up. And 2 seconds of research, you can go to Google and type in DJIA right now and see that this is bullshit. 4 letters on a Google search. You can see that this post is a lie. And they won't do it. They are so programmed. The average Democrat voter. I genuinely think that they believe that their 401ks have crashed. I genuinely believe that. And the thing is, when they're parroting these talking points from these influencers and these political commentators, what you also have to realize is there's another tier to this. There's another level. These influencers are parroting talking points that have been passed down to them from the top brass. The regime, the establishment, the Democrat Party, whatever you want to call it, they're feeding these people talking points. We've played the videos where these people on the mainstream media get on camera and they recite the same line verbatim with the same timing and everything. The politicians do it. We've proven beyond the shadow of a doubt that the Democrat Party and the establishment as a whole have these recited talking points that they come out and they pass it down to their underlings, and then their underlings pass the talking points down to the average voter. Have you ever tried to argue with some of these like boomer Democrats that are just unhinged about Trump and they sit there and they fry their brains on MSNBC all day? Have you ever tried to have a conversation with these people? Try it. Try and have a disagreement with them. They will recite some talking point like that. The moment you disprove that talking point beyond the shadow of doubt, they pivot. It's like arguing with a cult member. I knew a guy that used to debate Jehovah's Witness. The guy was Catholic. The other guy was Jehovah's Witness, this guy he worked with. And the Jehovah's Witness was really well read. So this guy I know started getting really into Catholic and Christian apologetics so he could start debating this guy. And as soon as he started offering up viewpoints that this guy couldn't counter, he would immediately switch. Immediately the subject would switch, because that's what cults teach their members to do. The second you get hit with a narrative-shattering blow, you change the subject. You don't even address it. You go on the attack against the other person. You resort to whataboutism, but you do not address the fact that you just got proven wrong. That's what these people do. Try if they bring up 401ks and you reply to them with a screenshot of the DJIA over the last year, they'll immediately pivot to, well, look what Trump has done to our allies. Blah, blah, blah. Like that's what they do, because they can't counter it. Because again, that's the problem with not being able to produce an original thought. When every single thought you have is spoon-fed down to you from the top of the chain of command, you lose your ability to critically think. And when you lose your ability to critically think, you lose your ability to have not even an argument, just a discussion with somebody you disagree with. They're impossible. I mean, it's like arguing with the wall, talking to these people. They're so dumb. They're so dumb. It's just a talking point. It's like arguing. It's like arguing with a car, with the back of some liberal's car at an Aldi, and just bouncing from bumper sticker to bumper sticker, because that's all these people have are bumper sticker talking points. They don't have any substance or data or research to back up the things they're saying. So they just rely on these. And that's the thing is, in their simple, small, fried brains, these influencers that are making these Facebook posts, I mean, this is the peak of intellectual discussion right here. So in their mind, they go into these conversations or debates or whatever you want to call them, quote unquote, armed with these generic bumper stickerish Facebook posts, talking points, thinking that this is all they need to win an argument. And when we actually come with facts to back it up, they get upset and they spurg out and they change the subject, and then they just keep recycling through the talking points because it's all they have. And that's the problem, is these people are so wrapped up in the matrix, it's becoming increasingly difficult to free them from it. I'm not saying they all need to vote the way we do. I'm not saying they need to view the world the way we do. But it's becoming more and more difficult to break them out of this prison they're in, where they're not allowed to critically think, and every marching order has to come from the top. Every thought, every opinion has to be corporate approved. Ask these people. Seriously, ask these people, the average boomer Democrat normie that reposts garbage like this. The next time you're having a conversation with them, ask them, can you name one thing that happened over the last 4 years under Biden that he did or his administration did, because we know he didn't do it, that you disagreed with? Can you tell me one thing the past administration did that you disagreed with? Now, we all know I'm certainly one to talk on this. I really am, because I come on here and I criticize the people I voted for every week on this show, sometimes much to the dismay of the people who listen to this show. But that's okay, because I want you guys to think critically. I want you to get opinions that you're not getting on these other right-wing hack talk shows. Yes, I do. I am from the right. I will criticize Trump from the right. But when he does something I don't like, or he says something I don't like, I have no problem coming out here and talking shit on it. I'm not about to sit here and just make up facts and statistics to back it up, like these people are doing with this 401k crap. So I think it goes without saying, Mr. Healthgot Joshua, we're going to go ahead and say this one was a bad take.
Wrong.
Take two. This is from a panel that was on, I don't even know what channel it was on, but it was a panel they hosted on transgender, quote unquote, women. It says, it's interesting. This is from a trans woman, if you will, himself. It says, it's interesting to hear how we are too strong for sports, but too weak for the military. Now, he thinks, again, this is a big brain gotcha moment. And it's yet another bumper sticker talking point. And this is the problem with these bumper sticker talking points, is weak-minded fools will share these around and they'll get tens of thousands of retweets or whatever, reposts, whatever they're called. And it plays really well to the base. But this can be absolutely shredded in about 10 seconds. Let me look at that one more time. It's interesting to hear how we're too strong for sports, but too weak for the military. We, of course, being the so-called trans, quote-unquote, women. Well, it's really not all that interesting, sweetheart. I'm not even gonna call you sweetheart, because I only use sweetheart when I'm trying to be condescending toward women that I disagree with. Sir, it's not that difficult. Let me spell it out for you real quick, and heads up, this one's a bad take.
Wrong.
Yes, you are too strong for female sports. And you are too weak for the military. Simply because you are stronger than the average female, but weaker, both physically and mentally, than the average biological male who didn't transition. There. Debunked. Your whole cliche bumper sticker talking point that's gotten shared tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of times, all over left-wing Facebook and Twitter, debunked in less than 30 seconds. Like I said, needless to say, bad, horrible
Wrong.
take. Let's go to the third one. Twitter account called Bad Electoral Takes shared a video from Mother Jones back during the 2024 presidential election called Why the Quote-Unquote Weird Attack is Working. Now, Mother Jones was claiming that this is back when the Harris campaign and Walz and all these retards were saying that J.D. Vance and Donald Trump were, and I quote, weird. And this Bad Electoral Takes was making fun of it. Now, another user replies, and this is who we're reacting to here, says it was easily the Kamala campaign's most effective attack. What the hell? So, that's right. The weird attack was Kamala's most effective. No, again, the weird label showed just how out of touch that Kamala's campaign was. They bring this fruitcake Tim Walz out, who prances around the stage and throws up his jazz hands, and everybody knows he's not straight, but he pretends to be so anyway. They've got this wine aunt that's up on stage talking about coconut trees and slurring her words and stumbling around, and they had the nerve to go out and call J.D. Vance weird. Now listen, J.D. Vance is, I don't agree with J.D. Vance on every political issue. I'm rather skeptical of his protectionism. However, when Donald Trump selected J.D. Vance to be his running mate, I came on the show when I did my reaction to it. And I remember, and I'm paraphrasing, I don't remember what I said word for word, but I said something along the lines of, and I was overtly critical of this selection. I was not a fan of it at the time. I admit I got that one wrong. But I said, all of that aside, I don't think there's anyone else in the United States Senate right now that I could see myself having a beer and watching a football game with easier than J.D. Vance. Because he's the opposite of weird. And Tim Walz is the epitome of weird. Who would you rather have around your kids? It's not even close. I wouldn't let Tim Walz within 100 miles of my kids. The weird attack, I don't even know if I want to say it backfired. It just made people go, what? What are you? He's not weird. And then they decided to double down on the weird thing and come out and say that, and they played all these ads about porn, and they had these just clearly closet homosexual Hollywood actors trying to portray a man's man in that ad that everyone thought was a Saturday Night Live sketch. And I mean, think about this. I don't know how many people I had. I lost count. These fat slobs with rainbow colored hair and just the women and then filthy, disgusting beards that hadn't been kept in years. Also the women. I mean, if you look at the people that were calling conservatives weird and calling J.D. Vance weird on Facebook and Twitter, they were some of the weirdest, most repulsive people we had ever seen. It's like Revenge of the Nerds, but lame. Like, oh yeah? We'll just call all you normal people weird. So what if I have a fetish for furries and I spend 2/3 of my day on Reddit? You're the weird one. Why? Because you don't think that men should watch porn 7 times a day. What are you, weird? Why do you care so much about what I do in my bedroom? Weirdo. So what if I want to watch extreme torture porn 19 times a day? You're weird if you think there's something wrong with that. Like, well, man, you do whatever you want to do. I'm just saying maybe it's not healthy. No, you're weird. You're weird. I should be able to watch women jerk off horses in my mom's basement. You're weird for thinking I shouldn't be able to do that. I mean, these are the people. I saw a video of a guy, and it perfectly sums it up. Alex Rosen, he's one of the people that goes out and he does the vigilante predator stings or whatever. He went out and he caught this guy who was wearing a Scottsbluff, Nebraska t-shirt. So I'm like already ashamed to be affiliated with this guy. But it was out in Illinois. It wasn't here. He caught this guy. He was a proud, outspoken LGBTQ 4K HD TV plus activist on social media. Big time. He was a gay guy. Big time ally. Again, goofy looking, disgusting, unkept beard. This guy shows up to meet what he thought was an 11-year-old and her mother so that the mother could pimp the 11-year-old out to this lunatic for sex. This guy showed up because he had a dirty diaper fetish in a diaper that he had already prematurely soiled to meet this 11-year-old girl. Now, he was a big Kamala Harris supporter all over social media. The point I'm trying to make here is these are the people that were calling us weird on social media. And that's why the weird attack didn't work. Guys, an attack doesn't work. And I know this because I'm the king of personal insults, right? Of just low blows, right? A personal attack on somebody that's meant to hurt their feelings, it doesn't work if it's not true. If it's a little true, even if there's a little bit of truth to it, it'll sting a little bit and it'll get under their skin. Sometimes that's the best one of the ones that are a little bit of truth to them, right? Like you call that chick that's like not obese, but 15 pounds overweight a fat ass. Chances are the fat chick already knows she's fat. So it's going to hurt, but not the way it hurts the one that's constantly wondering, who's counting all her calories and taking the stairs at work and trying to get her 10,000 steps in to lose that extra 15 pounds, who's clearly insecure about her weight, unsure if she's fat. That's going to eat at her core for a month. So when you call her fat, that one stings. So But when I've got these lunatics, these societal outcasts calling people weird that are just normal contributing members of society that just want to raise their family, pay less taxes, have their friends over for beers and barbecue on the weekends, and watch a little football. When you've got these guys that are showing up in dirty diapers to meet 11-year-old girls for sex, calling those guys weird, people just go, what the fuck are you talking about? What are you talking about? That's the pot calling the kettle black. What do you mean I'm weird? You freak. So this is, of course, this reaction to this take is a bad
Wrong.
take. All right, let's go to the next one here. This is the cashier when I pressed no tip after all they did was spin the iPad around and hand me my food. And it's got a picture of Nicolas Cage's character in Long Legs staring blankly and possibly a little angrily at the screen. That is a good movie if you guys want to watch it. Highly recommend. I'm a big horror movie fan. This is a good take. This is a fantastic take. I'm going to stand by this because here we play some music for him. This is a great take because tipping culture is so out of control in this country. Now, I don't mind tipping for a bartender, for a waiter or waitress at a restaurant, tattoo artist, hairstyle. Like, I don't mind tipping for those things. Bag boy in Vegas. I don't mind tipping for those people because those are service. Like, you're actually doing something. All you do, like, you guys are getting paid an hourly rate, and it's probably too high. All you did was, like you said, turn an iPad around. I'm not going to tip you. The tipping culture has gotten insane in this country, and what you're starting to see happen is what I told you guys would happen years ago, which is that it was going to backfire. And the people that actually live off tips and actually need tips because the rest of society has decided to start grubbing for tips are going to start getting tipped less because it's going to build some type of resentment. That's also what you're going to see with this no tax on tip thing, in my opinion. And I have a friend who works in the service industry, higher up in the service industry, has worked in the service industry for a long time, that completely agrees with me on that. That when you do this no tax on tip thing, what you're going to do is you're going to build a resentment between tipped-based employees and salary or hourly employees. Because these people that are, they're working 40, 50, 60 hours a week. They're busting their ass at their job, and then Uncle Sam's taking 23% of their paycheck. So they're going to go in and they're going to say, hey, Uncle Sam's taking a quarter less of your paycheck than he is of mine, server. So that's coming out of your tip. So now somebody who normally tipped 20% is going to tip 15%. Because why should, and I get it. Why should that guy's money that's getting taxed go to you to get untaxed? Why should he give you his money that's already been taxed at the same exact rate he was when you were paying the equal amount or an equal amount of taxes to one another, now that you're not paying any taxes? I'm thinking about it too. Maybe I should start tipping less. I mean, less for me. It's hard to get lower than $0. I don't believe in tipping. No, I'm kidding. Bodybuilders Against Tipping is a hilarious Facebook page for those of you that want to know. Free game. That's a good take, though. That's a good take. The tipping culture's gotten. I knew it was out of control back when I was stupid enough to fall for the CBD scam. I walked into a CBD store and they asked if I wanted to tip on the register literally all day. At least the Starbucks barista makes a fucking coffee, right? Makes a coffee. You know what I'm going to start doing? I'm going to start going to Starbucks and making the transgender baristas admit that they're men for a tip. So you let me call you sir, I'll give you a tip. How bad do you want the $5? Do you want that HRT this month or not? How bad do you want it, sir? That's a good take, though. I'm tired of the tipping. Last one. Matthew Iglesias. I think it's time to tell the truth. Lord of the Rings is kind of shit. This is a bad take. You should be ashamed of yourself. I don't even need to go into detail about why you should be ashamed of yourself. You should be ashamed of yourself. Your mother should be ashamed for birthing a piece of shit like
Wrong.
you. You're disgusting. You're disgusting. Lord of the Rings is not shit. That's one of the great. Now I agree. The Hobbit wasn't bad, but it was It was a mediocre follow-up to a perfectly good movie series that didn't need a prequel. I get it, the Hobbit book, whatever. You wanted to make your money, fine, I get it. In the interest of artistic preservation, they shouldn't have done it. Danny McBride never in a million years would have made the Hobbit series, and you guys know that, because Danny McBride knows when to stop a series. Eastbound and Down went one season longer than he wanted it to, and I think it could have gone another 3. Vice Principals could have gone at least 1 or 2 more, and he canceled it then. Because the man knows how to run a series. Danny McBride, I mean, if you guys aren't, the Lord of the Rings thing was a bad take. That was a joke when I threw in at the end there because I didn't really have anything else to put. Side note, if you're not up to date on Danny McBride's projects, do yourself a favor and go watch it. I mean, this is the equivalent. How many of you guys that are like my age that were just alive when Michael Jordan was in the middle of his run, but you were way too young to remember it? How many younger audience members do we have that were little when Tom Brady and the Patriots were carving up NFL defenses every Sunday? How many of you guys watch those videos, you see the 30 for 30 documentaries or whatever the case may be, and you think, man, I wish I could have been alive to see a generational run like that? You can get that with television right now if you go watch what Danny McBride's doing. The man is a genius. He's King Midas. Everything he touches turns to gold. Huge fan. I have a Kenny Powers tattoo on my arm that says La Flama Blanca from Eastbound and Down there. The white flame. Anyway, that has been... I was at a weird point in my life. That's been our show. We will see you guys Saturday for the big show. Cheat on your taxes, not your spouse, and stay based.